Number two, which one of these animals can live on land and in water?
Amphibious.
A, the coal island newt.
Possible.
B, the Moluccan flying snake. C, the Ozark hellbender. Or D, the West African catfish.
Every championship ends with all the contestants on stage playing air guitar together to save the world. That's right, 1,000 outrageously dressed adults pretending to shred imaginary instruments is our last line of defense against nuclear apocalypse.
Okay, now it's time for Collecturbation 2. Have we gone mad? Perhaps. I gotta tell you, that actor Harry Hamlin with his flouncy togas and that curly hair, it's more homoerotic than all the Manowar covers put together.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
I'm living far away where anything can reach the ceiling.
Welcome to Labor Day weekend.
Well, how about waxing Titanical? So I went back the other day and I watched the original, not the lame remake with Liam Neeson, the original Clash of the Titans from 1981. I gotta tell you, that actor Harry Hamlin with his flouncy togas and that curly hair, it's more homoerotic than all the Manowar covers put together. And that huge sword is even more of a phallic notion.
So, as the story goes, Zeus, unable to keep it in his immortal pants, gets the king's daughter Danae pregnant, and our hero Perseus, the half-god, is born. The angry father banishes Danae and Perseus to this rickety sea raft. There's a lot of banishing and cursing in this movie.
There is, yeah.
In response, Zeus kills him and has Poseidon release the kraken to destroy the city of Argos.
It occurred to me that release the kraken is the perfect text to go with a dick-pic when you send it. Don't you think? Plus, look at it. It's hard as stone. Perfect.
Quite the cast. Laurence Olivier as Zeus, Maggie Smith, even Burgess Meredith throws on a hard-looking dress.
His knees are nightmares. Yeah.
The scenes with the gods in Olympus are very reminiscent of the planet Krypton scenes from the 70s Superman movie. The booming, reverby voices, the grandiose language.
He has trapped and killed my sacred herd of flying horses, and now only Pegasus remains. So he'll be transformed into a mortal mockery. I wonder if they talk like this all the time back then. They say stuff like, "Someone hath blown up the royal restroom." Now, Princess Andromeda, boy, she's got great luck, right? She starts off dating Calibus, the dude who pisses off Zeus, and then Zeus basically hits him with an ugly stick, turning him into some devil-adjacent thing. So she kicks him to the curb so she can marry our hero. Subsequently, Calibus is pissed off. He puts Andromeda under a curse of his own. She cannot marry unless her suitor answers his riddle correctly.
In my mind's eye, I see 3 circles joined in priceless, graceful harmony. 2 as full as the moon, 1 as hollow as a crown, 2 from the sea, 5 fathoms down, 1 from the earth, deep underground. The whole a mark of high renown. Tell me, what can it be?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Toyota logo, because I think that there's a new Prius on the horizon for our husband-to-be. Look, even when you're half immortal, it's good to save money on gas.
Finally, they get married, but then her mother makes the comment, "She's more beautiful than even Thetis." Obviously, Mom's been hitting the Merlot a little too hard.
He looks so much prettier than Thetis. I got a refill over here.
Anyway, Thetis is furious and demands that not her, but the poor unlucky daughter Andromeda be chained up and fed to the kraken, or she'll destroy the whole city. I mean, this couple can't catch a break to save their lives.
It's a good thing she didn't hear Athena. She was over by the punch bowl. She said Thetis' earrings made her look like a defective chandelier. Hold my shoes, ladies. Hard to believe that Clash of the Titans came out in 1981, because it was the same year as Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that is a movie with legendary special effects that still look fantastic to this day. We watched it the other day, yeah. This one, it's kind of like Ben-Hur meets Land of Lost via a Primus video with claymation monsters.
But there's plenty of action. Giant scorpions, flying horses, 3-headed dogs, a cool Grim Reaper ferryman dude. The climax, of course, is when Perseus forces the kraken to look into the eyes of Medusa, holding up her head triumphantly and saving the day.
I was wondering what would happen if he reached in the bag and he pulled up a bowling ball instead. Damn it, wrong bag. That's right, bowling night is Tuesday. Oh, fiddlesticks. Also, another point. The next day or a week later, what are they going to do with Medusa's head? I mean, yeah, source of unspeakable power, yes, but that thing is rank. Febreze isn't going to be invented for like 30 years, so we're all screwed.
Or like 30K if you go back to Greek time.
Even more.
We were talking about it at work the other day, and I asked a colleague if he'd seen it. He goes, "No, I don't like Denzel Washington." I had to think for a minute. That's Remember the Titans, you dolt. Spoiler alert, there's not one sea monster in that entire movie, but he does freak out when somebody fumbles.
Boy, did you fumble my football? Say you didn't fumble my football, boy. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about a feature interview.
Our feature interview this week is with Eric Flores, Dimitris Kaztikatikos, and Gary Robb of the Baltimore-based groove metal band Moonsinger. This is a really exciting project that we discovered at Maryland Doomfest, and we have a great discussion with these three werewolf and pirate-obsessed metalheads that have a full-length concept album about to drop in the coming months that we cannot wait to get into and dissect. We get the full history of the band and a glimpse into some of the incredible concepts and music they are in the process of making. We get into zombie apocalypse situation, squeegee boys, and our favorite King Diamond record, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, let's kick it off. This is Moonsinger with Dead City.
Stumbled out of a hole in the bayou, nearly lost my way. Went out of the dark, I could figure not a word was said. She's missing a tongue and a finger, got me running like a walking dead. Dead city, oh, dead city, they got it by the light of the moon.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth podcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get a wheelbarrow with remarkably low tire pressure full of market stays.
Yes, it does take a lot to keep this show going, as far as all our behind the scenes fees, charges, and subscriptions.
Yeah.
But you know, you keep us going here. If you like what you see, you might want to become a Patriot. And as thanks, you will get access to exclusive content that we share nowhere else.
I have a ton of 7-inch records that I ripped that are not available on Spotify that I'm going to be reviewing over on that site. Are they good? Are they not? You'll just have to log in over there and see. And also, please don't forget to log into our other show, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast, because even if you're not a fan of black or death metal, you still get Mark and Stace. And you can skip the songs if you don't like them, but you get the dulcet tones of our voices, which is really what matters. And speaking of dulcet tones, I think it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
All right, again, no one's learning anything. I worked really hard for this to be completely non-learnable.
If
Okay.
you don't know this, I do the Obnoxious Trivia for rock and roll and Mark.
No, you do the Obnoxious Trivia for Decay.
For Decay, I'm sorry.
She does Obnoxious Trivia for Decay, and she's very educational. My job in this show is to make sure we learn nothing and are happy about it.
She's explaining it.
Okay. All right, question number 1. Who won the 1985 Academy Award for Best Film Editing? This is important information to bring up at a dinner party. Okay, was it A, Scott Berkowitz for The Glass Slipper Diaries, B, Jim Clark for The Killing Fields, C, Christine Hart for The Natural, or D, Ed Tompkins for Ghostbusters? 1985 Academy Awards.
Ghostbusters was. All right, let's best film editing. Let's go for Christine Hart for The Natural, just because I never liked that movie.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It was actually Jim Clark for The Killing Fields. The Natural did win Best Stereophonic Digital
Won everything.
Track-to-Track Digital Stereophonic Editing of a previously dubbed audio source in a foreign language.
Wow. I just thought it was so depressing. It was a great story, and then right as he's at the height of his career, his heart explodes as he's at bat, and that's it.
I think back then they used to like show all the awards, like even these incredibly boring ones that nobody cares about. Like they actually did. The show was like 3.5 hours long. They learned early on, or they learned later on, that people don't care about these. They'll just skip these. These will be in the newspaper article. They're not. No, they're not. They're skipping right to best actress. Anyway, okay. Number two. Which one of these animals can live on land and in water?
Amphibious.
A. The Coal Island newt.
Awesome.
B. The Moluccan flying snake. C. The Ozark hellbender. Or D. The West African catfish.
Oh, I don't think a catfish can live on land. A newt lives on land anyway. I'll go with the Moluccan flying snake.
Sorry, that's incorrect.
God.
It's the Ozark hellbender.
I just see. I had no idea what that was.
It's a weird looking fish. Yeah, it's like some kind of weird fish lizard hybrid amphibian. So, all right, you're batting 1,000. All right, and we're learning nothing. All right, 3. Who patented the beer koozie?
Oh.
A. Alex Lang of Australia in 1977. B. Bonnie McGow of Idaho in 1980. C. Blind Adam Fala of West Virginia in 1982. Or D. Akiti Yamamoto of Tokyo, 1979. The beer koozie.
Kids are very fond of
I was never the same.
I don't know why. It seemed to have skipped our generation.
There is no way I'm going to hold a beer long enough for it to get cold. It's going down the hatch. So I never was a big beer koozie guy, but go ahead.
All right. I think just because of the crazy name koozie, it must have come from Tokyo. So I'll go with D.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It was Bonnie McGow of Idaho. They had the Australians did have some koozie adjacent things that they had invented over there, but she was the first one to actually patent it, and it was going to be made like sheepskin or something. It was like, yeah. So Australia was really first, but they didn't have a person.
Oh.
She was the first person like named to be associated with the beer koozie. Yeah.
Going to Ocean City during the summer, they're very strict. You're not allowed to have alcohol on the beach. It's not like Myrtle Beach where no one cares. So they would have these things that you would wrap around your beer can that said like Mountain Pew in the exact design.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Very white trash. Yes.
Very right.
Okay, number 4. Which of the following is true about duck vaginas?
I don't know if I want to know.
I told you we're not learning. Okay. A, they are used for reproduction but not urinating. B, they emit a low rumbling noise when ready to mate. C, they are shaped like corkscrews. Or D, they are covered with special feathers called manu. Duck vaginas.
God. I'm gonna say A is not true. There's nowhere else a pee hole could be. I don't think they could be shaped like corkscrews. That's a little weird. All right, I'll go. They emit a low rumbling noise when they're ready to mate.
You are 0 for 4.
Oh.
Not only are they shaped like corkscrews, the male duck's penis is shaped like a corkscrew, and it gets all up in that bitch. Yep. Yeah.
That's scary. I feel bad for
Yeah.
duckies. He uncorked her.
You're corkscrewed. Yeah.
Really,
All right.
corkscrew.
This has been Obnoxious Trivia. Yay, Mark. Don't learn anything. All right, it's time for our Snaggletoon. And this week we're going to talk about something Stace discovered, air guitar championships.
You know, there are lots of proposed solutions to world peace. Nobel Prizes, diplomatic treaties, let love rule, war is over if you want it. But none of them is as badass as the solution offered by Finland. Competitive air guitar.
Yeah, the air guitar world championships have been going strong for over 20 years in Oulu, Finland. And according to their official website, wars will end, climate change will stop, and all bad things will vanish when everyone plays air guitar. Is Al Gore aware of this theory? It's a bold claim. I mean, who hasn't looked around and pulled out their solid body in the frozen food section during Who's Crying Now? You know what? You can get your TV dinners as soon as I'm done, fatty. Just give me a minute here.
Every championship ends with all the contestants on stage playing air guitar together to save the world. That's right, 1,000 outrageously dressed adults pretending to shred imaginary instruments is our last line of defense against nuclear apocalypse. Honestly, if the aliens had landed tomorrow and that's what they see, they'd probably just shake their heads in disgust and head over to check what the action is like on Venus.
The judging is Olympic style, using the 4.0 to 6.0 scale. for technical merit, artistic impression, and something they call airness. That's right, not guitar skill, not stage presence, airness, which basically means how well did you channel the air with flair? Somewhere in Finland, there's a judge with a clipboard stroking his beard, muttering, "Yes, power stance believable, airness not impressive."
If you can't play an actual instrument, congratulations, you may already be a world champion.
Mhm.
And if you think this is just the quirky finish thing, oh no. The U.S. Air Guitar Championships have their own official rules, and they are as serious as a heart attack about them. Honestly, it's like reading page 29 of the Geico auto insurance rider.
Round one is freestyle. You pick any song, any 1 minute section of it, and you go all in, which means somewhere out there, someone is winning trophies by air shredding 60 seconds of Guns N' Roses. They are very serious about 60-second time limits. Grant Hopkins of Eden Prairie, Minnesota went to 63 seconds and was never heard from again.
Round 2 is compulsory. The top 5 competitors from round 1 get thrown into a surprise song, which is basically, congratulations, you made the finals. Now, please play air guitar your way through Bob Seger's Kathmandu, even though you've never heard it before. See you guys in the emergency room.
Your guitar must be invisible. Must be. Like, if you walk on stage with even a toy guitar, they'll boo you off. This is the one sport where not owning equipment is part of the requirement. Air roadies are allowed. Yes, air roadies, but they must leave before the performance, which means somewhere a guy is training to be the world's best air roadie. I am so exhausted from all of the equipment that I simply did not carry. Hey, I wonder if there'll be air groupies backstage.
And you thought air guitar was bad. At least that requires a little bit of physical effort, but my favorite rule? No backup bands, air or real. I mean, does that mean that someone had a complete air band? And you would think this would be a thing, but nope, I can't find any trace of air band competitions. Apparently, a lot of the air drummers are triple booked, so it's too hard. Not hard to understand, those air chimes and air gongs don't grow on trees, people.
And then there's the wardrobe, because nothing says champion like a dude in a silver tracksuit, Hawaiian shirt, and a naval officer hat, absolutely killing it. He's even doing air supply songs, which is bordering on cheating, if you ask me.
The women's outfits are even better. One shows up in a red sparkled halter top, presumably to blind the judges with brilliance, while performing a face-melting solo. Another goes full avant-garde and dresses as an electrical outlet. Yes, an outlet. I can only assume she's planning to shock the competition. Metaphorically, of course.
I'd like to stick my plug into that.
Some of the champions. Smiley Rod from 2020 US champion rocks in distressed jeans and a white wife beater. Classic, I just got out of a garage band that doesn't exist vibe.
The Marquee 2019 US champ and world champion goes full theatrical. White face paint with one black eye, a powdered wig, shiny red, white, and blue suit, and wait for it, white leggings. Basically, if Napoleon and a glam rock star had a baby that grew up loving Van Halen, you'd go for this one. Justin Hypes, MC, aka the real Seth Labinowitz, is doing Cookie Monster t-shirts, white shorts, and pink fuzzy jewelry. I mean, this is the perfect example of someone saying, I look adorable, so you will never suspect any of my air shredding prowess. I can't take any more. Let's play a song. This is more of Dead City. Okay, let's talk about Imperfect Foods.
Imperfect Foods is a great service that we use every other week to get delicious things shipped right to our door.
Sometimes naughty things.
Sometimes naughty things.
Yes.
No fighting with parking lots.
Like you did today?
Hit
Yeah.
my car on a pole.
Yeah.
Just a little scratch.
Little fender bender.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have some things here we got from our Imperfect order this week. They have some things you can't get anywhere else, brands you can't get anywhere else. I skipped the fruit this time around. These we've already gotten into. I think there's one left. But these are called Rome sticks. They're the perfect jalapeno pineapple raised pork sticks. They look like this, and you have your snack with all the protein and none of the carbs.
No one handles a meat stick like Stace.
No, there are more Rome sticks that we have here. They just fell out.
I was gonna say I only ate one. I didn't like.
Sorry. There's a jalapeno.
That was today. Oh, yeah.
Pineapple and uncured bacon flavors. Now, how much would you pay?
Wow, yeah. I mean, tonight I'll eat them all, but not today.
Right. Then we get into great stuff like savory onion puffs.
Yeah.
These are excellent. These are made by Mystic Markets, which is their brand. They also have a blue cheese puff flavor.
They make Funyuns seem like an offense against man and God.
This is the real deal, folks. Also, which I'm going to be making our own gyros with, we have some ground pork, ground lamb. Find that in your local grocery store. Fun stuff like snacking mozzarella cheese, individual wrapped for your personal wine zombie
That's
experience.
cheese? I thought it was garlic. That's why I wasn't eating it.
Snack and cheese.
Nice. Okay.
Snack and cheese.
I'm gonna accidentally end up biting into a whole clove of garlic one of these days. You watch.
Fill your pantry. White kidney beans. This is the same brand you would get. Or you can get their brand of tuna. I made some yummy tuna melts from these the other
Don't
week.
let our cat know. He's
Yeah.
got a tuna fetish. He'll be right up our ass bitching like crazy.
A 2-pack of pork chops, just perfect for the two of us. Air fry these bitches up. Or if you just want yummy sweet snacks, these things are absolute blue crack.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Coffeed almonds. Perfect. So you can use our link. Get your own stuff. They've got tons of things. You can even get wine delivered these days.
Yep.
So
Craziness.
get over and get your groceries without your reusable shopping bag.
That's right.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It is time for Collecturbation. And I went a little haywire again this week. I decided I was going to do 2 separate releases of things that were just sent to me by labels as gratis. So we're going to talk about the band Skid City from Australia. The album's called Greetings from Skid City. And also a split between, this is going to sound made up, but it's true, Mr. Clit and the Pink Cigarettes and Nightfreaks. So we got a split and we have a full album, both of which were sent to me just out of kindness.
Despite all of our daily struggles, life's little pleasantries are all around us. We just have to look for them. Ordered some guitar pedals from Sweetwater a few months ago, and not only did they ship them quickly and package them smartly, but they also threw in a handful of some of the most delicious hard candies I've ever tasted. Forget your Jolly Ranchers. These were like giddy ranchers that passed Jolly way back in the early 2000s.
They're so much nicer than they need to be at Sweetwater. I wish I bought more gear so that I could please them, but I just don't. Baltimore City has this weird law about plastic bags. They're like cancer. They're forbidden. And in many cases, you go to the grocery store and all they have are these shitty paper bags. They're not like the bags from the 80s when they were tough and strong. These rip easily and you got to pay for them. But the corner store, general store by my work, got around this problem. They just give out really nice, thick, sturdy bags for free. Even if I'm just buying like a Gatorade or something, they'll be like, here's your nice bag. I mean, you could put a bowling ball in these things and they wouldn't rip. And there's no minimum order. There's no scarcity mentality. It's nice. You should be grateful for these things, right? But my favorite is the Burger King right up the road that I go to. Whenever I order a cheeseburger through the drive-thru, they don't ask me if I want a crown. They say, here's your receipt and your crown, because of course I want a crown. I'm wearing it all the way home.
Speaking of unexpected pleasantries, I received a jolly bit of gratis from the folks at Shipping Steel Records recently when I bought a couple of 7-inches. Upon receiving my order, which included shipping costs from Australia, which I think was about $94.50,
Give or take, yeah.
they decided to throw in this little gem from the Melbourne quintet known as Skid City. Their debut, Greetings From, came out 3 years ago and consists of 10 songs that flash by in the garage-friendly 2 to 3 minute range. The music is snotty and aggressive in a West Coast 79 sort of way. Classic Germs comes to mind, with a lot of cool and creative leads from guitarist Steph, and verge of collapse vocals from singer Zeke.
I'm not sure if it's Sweetwater driven, but the song Hard Candy is one of the stronger tracks, kicking off with a sturdy bass intro from Sophie that sets up both guitars to come a slashing in with beefy mid-tempo riffing. There's a nifty fall-away effect on the gits that allow for some spacey noodling, the way they used to do it back in the low sideburn era. Let's hear a little bit of Hard Candy. The song Double Deuce, and no, it's not a Rory Gallagher cover. It's a whip-smart, groovy rocker buttressed by the temper tantrum fits of percussion from Joel on the Skins and lots of dolls-informed guitar hiccups from Steph. Zeke also does a nice job of dropping double and triple about 44 times in the space of a couple of minutes, which made me cheer for weeks.
Things close out with a 4-chord slacker anthem called Dynamite, one that boasts Steph's best lead on the album and just the right amount of flashy stick work from Joel, along with the lyric, 2, 4, 6, 8, push the button, detonate. That's when the cheerleaders come out, and there's no getting that genie back in the bottle. Short songs, great hooks, and a complete lack of responsibility. It's about the little things in life, people. Let's play a clip. This is Dynamite.
Okay, now it's time for Collecturbation 2. Have we gone mad? Perhaps. Mr. Clit and the Pink Cigarettes / Nightfreak. 3 creepy, ugly, scary songs from 2024. Kudos to the gentlemen and scholars over at What's for Breakfast Records for sending us such a wacky split 7-inch from 2 Midwest trios, Chicago's Nightfreak and Indianapolis's Mr. Clit and the Pink Cigarettes. While Nightfreak describes themselves as feral punk, formed in 2019, the Pink Cigarette Gang have been going strong for over a decade with 4 full-lengths and a ton of 7-inches, sporting titles like Cancer Tastes Great and Pipsqueaks from Planet Fur. If any of you were familiar with these bands, why didn't you tell us about them? Forget about personal, what about a relationship? Do you realize how embarrassing it is that we have to go find this stuff out on our own?
The disc kicks off with several haunting notes in the vein of Phantom of the Opera that were quickly obliterated by the hard-charging punk rock power chords and hyperactive drums. Guitarist Davey Gravy and bassist Abby Hart trading off ghostly wails and unhinged screams. Drummer Aisha Clarissa is the steady anchor of this pack of misfits, laying down a mid-tempo giddy-up as a canvas for the others to wig out over. It's the perfect soundtrack for your 1-minute Halloween gala. Horror, gore, glam grinds along a grungy riff reminiscent of Babes in Toyland. Hart lays down the narrative of maggot-obsessed Brad and creepy Roddy, and somehow how Grandma gets involved. The chorus is the real attraction here. Very cheerleader adjacent.
Horror, gore, glam.
Super catchy and clap-along friendly as Gravy lays down a twisted solo, atrocious in the best possible way, and Hart shows off her uncanny, hoot like a horned owl abilities. Be sure to check out some performances from these 3 on YouTube. They frickin' own the stage when performing live, and make Greasy Tony's Pizza Barn seem like Wembley Arena with their on-stage antics alone.
Let's hear horror, gore, glam. I always wanted to have a place called Greasy Tony's Pizza Barn. Like, I've been making that joke since I was like 10 years old. a tough act to follow, but Nightfreak prove up to the task, laying down a hard slashing speedball of their own. Guitarist vocalist Steve Henderson dishing out uber distorted riffage and manic vocals like he's fronting Poison Idea in 1993. Hard scream lines like I can't tell which way is up or down and my whole fucking world is coming down, coupled with a furious four-chord attack buttressed by bassist Dan Stagg's steady burbles and the crazed cymbal smashing of drummer Fred Mason, proved to be an absolutely lethal combination.
The last minute of the song slows to a deadly, slow-placed crawl with an absolutely lethal riff, the best on the whole affair to close things out. It's not easy to straddle the line of punk and metal, sounding effective at both, but in their short time together, Nightfreak have managed to do exactly that. Again, looking at some of their performances on YouTube, this is not a band that would be easy to follow. Fans of Zeke, Super Suckers, and Dwarfs are perfect victims for the speeding, searing rock and roll of Nightfreak.
Okay, this is See No Evil. Okay, interesting interview.
This is a band we discovered at Maryland Doomfest. I was quick to run and buy my t-shirt that you'll see in this interview. We talked with Eric later as kind of the leader of the band, and then we quickly learned about Dimitri and Gary. And once you learn the concept of this album, there's so many layers. They are such solid players. Again, a band that cannot just be lumped into stoner rock. So they really stood out for us. We are so proud to bring them to you.
The more they talk about Jackalopes, the more confused I get. So let's just not go there. Take it away.
Well, we really, and I think out of everyone, you guys were our best of the festival this year. You guys and Sonolith, I think, really caught our attention.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
And both bands that were back there in that hot box.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very hot.
Although, have
It
you heard they had made an announcement that they're going to make an announcement in March about, I don't know if they're relocating the Doom Festival, but I think it's going to go on.
Yeah.
Well, I happen to know a little bit about that. So JB and I are actually playing in a side project right now called Locust Point. And I may have been a little bird in his ear saying, how are you going to survive not doing this year-long event that you plan? You're going to be so
Right.
bored.
Yeah.
I said, so what about a Doomsday? And
Yeah.
I think we might be getting something going. So look forward
That's
to
cool.
sharing that in the future. I think March is when we're really going to start announcing things with that. So I know it's quite a ways off, but we got some big surprises for it.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this can't be it. We won't know what to do with ourselves.
Yeah.
So you guys started as a studio experiment between Eric and Demetrius. Where was that aha moment when you realized, wait a second, this isn't just a jam, this is actually a band?
For me, it was kind of right out the gate. I was moving back from California and had gotten contact with Demetrius. We'd been friends for, at this point now, about 27 years. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. And getting in touch with him saying, hey, man, I got the itch again, and I want to do something. And he felt the same way. And we've got families and mortgages, and we didn't realize how feasible it would be. And we started to write the songs and just fell in love with the material and believed in it enough to say that we've got to try. And yeah, that's basically where, for me, it was right away. How about you, Demetrius? Did you feel the same, or?
Yeah, for me, it was right out the gate. Me and Eric, like you said, we've known each other for a very long time. we were in brother bands back in the day, and I always thought he was the strongest point in the bands that he was in, and I knew he had an amazing voice. And from the jump start, I was like, yeah, I can't wait to start something with this guy because I knew it was going to be great. So,
Well, thanks, man. Thank you.
yep.
And then who came up with the name? I love it. It's so different. I love the font too.
It was me for that. Moonsinger. I've got a unhealthy fascination with werewolves, and Moonsinger to me is exactly what they do when they're howling at the moon. So that is where it's basically the song of the wolf to me. To me, it's music to my ears. So that's how I came up with the name. And we were lucky enough that no one else had it.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing.
The children of the night, isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
a lot
right?
better than feral cats in the middle of the night. That's not a good noise at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No,
Not my neck of the woods.
No. So how did you connect with your drummer, Gary Raub? Did you have like several auditions, or was he an instant fit?
Did you need to leave little treats to lure him in, or?
Yeah, Gary
I'm gonna
was instant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known Gary for quite a long time. He was a very close friend with ex-bandmates of mine, as well as I've known Gary since I was probably about 16. The first band I was ever in, which was also with friends of his, he was the first stand-in singer that ever performed with me. So
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I just remember, hanging out with Meat, talking to him, and he said, "Hey, man, I got these demos, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in laying down some tracks to him, maybe." And I was like, "Well, send them to me." And I heard him, and I already knew Meat was a riff master. I was a fan of his band Sleep Infection back in the day, and I heard the singer, and I was like, "Holy crap, who is this dude?" And I was like, "I'm in, dude. I want to do this." And I just went down to Meat's basement, brought down my electric drum kit just to do something kind of simple, laid down some tracks, and like all three of us were just like, this is sounding really freaking good. Maybe we can do something. I was like, dude, I'm in. Let's do this. And it kind of just happened from there. It was really quick and easy. It just rolled right out.
Drummers tend to be a hot commodity. That sometimes you're in 9 different projects. Is that you, or is this it?
I got like 3 or so, something like that.
Yeah.
But
get
we're
that
his
a lot.
number one. We're his number one.
Number one.
That's right. It's my number one passion project for sure, dude.
And
Yeah,
just to reiterate with that, if I could, the minute Gary came over and started to play with us, it was as a musician, and I've been doing this for 30 years, you really get the idea of when you sit in the room with someone, that first 5 minutes is a real strong 5 minutes. And it goes all over the board, from people who don't know what to do and being nervous and everything else in between. And just the chemistry that we had the minute Gary stepped in, with as far as our personalities, and he sat behind an electric kit, and I'll be the first to say, I'm thinking to myself, an electric kit, what are we going to do? How good could it possibly be? Well, Gary's got a really nice electric kit, and he knows how to play it. And it blew my mind. It really did. I remember him leaving and telling Demetrius that we've got to make sure he is interested. We have to find out now. Does he really like it? Or it's just been, we've had no other drummers, but we've had other people step into this project that they were not the right fit. And unfortunately, most of the time those people are kind of friends, and it leaves a sour taste in your mouth when you have to ask someone to step aside. And we've thought about, doing other things with other players and still consider sometimes, but the three of us have just this wonderful chemistry with one another. And I think it really shows in the songwriting.
It definitely does.
Was it just always going to be a trio, or did you try having like two
Yeah,
guitar players? Or?
we've had two guitar players. I started off playing bass and singing. Got to the point to where I really wanted to try just to focus on vocals. I've never been a front man before. Been playing bass in most projects I've ever played in, and have, small vocal parts in those projects as well. But never anything standing out like I'm doing now. And so I wanted to try to give it a shot and feel what it was like. And every time anyone stepped in, it really started to ruin, for the lack of a better term, ruin the chemistry that we were having. It was creating tension between whether or not there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians kind of thing. And in this band, we have found this common ground that is, again, spectacular. I can't speak enough about the chemistry that we have. That's it's what's going to be the longevity of this band. We've been together for a little more than 3 years now, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you we've never had a disagreement. We've never had an argument. Our the way we write songs is so organic that, Demetrius or myself will bring a riff to the table, and within 5 minutes, we'll know whether or not we're going to continue moving on with this. We've got so many things that we've put on the back burner just because, and we've got a lot. We've got a lot to bring out in 26. I'll say that. So we're really looking forward to the future with the band.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I do love your voice. It just
Thank you.
It's so like melodic but husky. Something about it is like Adam Duritz without the angst.
Yes. Hey, listen, I love that. Again, I kind of thought when Demetrius and I were getting together and having to talk, I was so concerned about how accepted it would be, because we weren't really very familiar with the stoner genre of music, and we've never played that before, or doom, or however you want to look at it. I think we're a little bit more rock and roll than all of that, but that's what I said to him. I said, do you mind if we bring it back to the beginning? The beginning of me just, I'm a singer. Everyone started to scream a good 15, 20 years ago, and it is not something that I'm keen to doing. And it kind of pushed me aside a little bit. And it even made me bashful, so to speak, to sing, because so many people were screaming. But I think finally now, and I'm 46 years old, and I'm just now, I think, coming into what is my own, I think. So I'm happy to be where we're at right now.
I think you said that too, right before we were watching. Somebody was running around trying to do his best Danzig impression, like in the crowd, and just being a little too ferocious. And it was such a breath of air when we walked into you guys. We were like, wow, all right.
Well, thank you very much. And by the way, Danzig is a major influence of mine, all the way back to the Misfits, Sam Hain, and everything else he's done. So I think for me, I hear it a lot in my voice, in the avenues I choose to take with my melodies. Other people, they act as though they don't hear it so much, but I think a real Danzig fan would catch it.
Well, speaking of that, if you get the chance, I guess we talked over Instagram about the John Christ thing.
We did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see behind me, but I'll grab it. I've got Mr. Christ's John Hancock right here from.
Oh wow, that's a great picture too.
Yeah, from a good friend of Gary's. She's lucky enough to work with all these amazing artists, and she was kind enough to get that signed for me.
So, who came up with the whole cosmic werewolf pirate lore, and how much whiskey was involved there?
You want to take that, Neat?
It was sort of, it was a combination of really me and Eric at first. I'm a big reader, big fantasy lover, sci-fi lover. Eric is a huge horror buff. Like you said, he, has a big affinity for werewolves. I'm not exactly sure how the pirate thing came into it. That one I'm kind of lost on.
I think overall it comes down to the fact that every time we would go into Demetrius's basement, and he had this fantastic bar-esque like basement that resembled this 1970s somewhere you'd see the Sopranos sitting in or something like that with the big plush oversized chairs. And he'd have these games, these board games. He's a huge collector, and he'd have these board games sitting out, and a lot of times it would be these werewolves, and different ones were pirates and this. And I'm not even lying. One night I just came home and dreamt a lot of it up.
Yeah.
And it's not as interesting as I wish it was, but there's a lot of story that goes to these songs that we're hoping once the album's finished that we can release a few short stories with each song to kind of explain where we're coming from with the lyrics and everything else. I'm not very literal in our lyrics. You won't find me really saying much about a werewolf or much about pirates. It's kind of a first person experience. And I think what's happened is Gary, myself, and Demetrius, the story in my mind goes like this. Once we were all in these huge bands, we were much younger. We were chasing these crazy dreams of being, playing with our gods, so to speak. And, that's the pirate ships we were on back then. They were our crews. And then all of a sudden we got old and we had families and things happened. So we were kind of marooned from those places. And on this desert island, we found one another. And through the encouragement of each other, we decided that we weren't done yet. And that's where the band actually comes into play. To be Moonsinger is this fantastic idea of us being these pirate werewolves that sail the cosmos in our fantastic broken down Blackbringer. And through our journeys, we stumble upon riches, and we stumble upon tragedy, and we stumble upon all the different things in between. And I think that if you listen to the songs, as goofy as we are, and is not serious, we don't take ourselves very serious. The songs are very serious. And we put everything we have into writing this music. And it means a whole lot to us. It's taken us quite a while to get the album where we wanted it to be right now. And we're not completely finished yet, but it's kind of like a lifelong dream of ours, this album, for the three of us that we share together.
Yeah.
And it's been a fantastic journey so far. And again, I can't wait to see where it takes us.
That's better than my theory. I thought you were going to say Demetrius is a longshoreman in the port of Baltimore.
That's kind of the look I go for.
And the health benefits are fantastic.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I gotta just comment a little bit on what Eric was talking about. I mean, yeah, everything he's saying in a literal sense for us is kind of true, and then it informs the story. And Eric's imagination is insane. He's coming up with these ideas of these, these pirates that get bitten by werewolves and they become werewolves. So they're werewolf pirates, and they're just roaming the seas and, stealing shit from people. And then he's like, well, what happens after this? Like when their ship sinks, what do? Is like, well, they get a spaceship and they start going the cosmos. Like the Earth isn't enough. They start going somewhere else with it. I mean, this is how the creativity and the imagination for him and the other two of us to really hone in on it. I think it's amazing. And we're not like pinned down by anything. If it's a stupid concept, we don't care. We think it's fun, and we're just going to roll with it.
Concepts.
That's what matters.
Yeah. We've got a couple ones that get away from the whole Moonsinger werewolf pirate thing that are absolutely silly, but and as Eric said, they're still pretty. We're dead serious about making these songs what they are, but you always have to have that wink nod that we're all silly kids in old men bodies just trying to make cool music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need
Amen.
that. Yeah.
So my shirt I get, because you got the werewolf and you got the blackbringer and all the kind of pagan symbols. What in the world is the rabbit with the dead toad? Frog.
Good meat. Good meat.
Well, I don't know. So we have a song called Letter Gold, which is basically kind of a outlaw western kind of idea. So, I have a fascination with jackalopes for some reason. I couldn't really tell you why. So I kind of dreamt up this idea of, well, I don't know if it was me or Eric that had the idea for the whole anthropomorphic animal kind of thing, but we wanted a song, basically, basically we wanted to take the theme of the song and kind of inject it with not normal everyday people, but more of an anthropomorphic, basically animals. And just from there, I mean, we have some songs that are yet to be released that are sort of concepts that kind of revolve more around this that we haven't got to yet. But it's something that we're working on, and hopefully people will see sometime really soon.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a guess where the Blackbringer Pirates would make a stop, would it be the Brewer's Art, the Auto Bar, or maybe a Royal Farm store?
Definitely Royal Farms.
I don't know, man. The Brewer's Art feels like the vibe, but for quick and ease, maybe Royal Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a funny thing. We were there for a while. We would walk up to this bar at night, and we would walk by this Royal Farms, and somehow I was ordering, and he thought, "Man, she's getting a lot of sauce." Somehow I ordered 2 things of sauce. He was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, she likes a lot of sauce." I'm
He
like,
likes the sauce, yeah.
Yeah, large and a small. Yeah.
"A large and a small." I was like,
Remember
I
that.
don't know what I'm doing. It was the whole.
Mhm.
I love those
Yeah.
menu boards. I get a little too.
I've
clicky.
always been a sucker for the damn chicken. I can't lie.
Yeah.
It's pretty good
Their,
chicken.
their chicken and their coffee is just so good. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I do love how your bio says the ruins of Baltimore, which is actually how Maryland Death Fest looked like 2 years ago. They were ripping a building down right on the backdrop of it. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I've seen this last year. It was fantastic, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 The Ruins of Baltimore is kind of a play off the song, our newest single, Dead City. It's kind of, I in my job, my field of work, what I do is trauma cleanup.
Okay.
So I see the underbelly of Baltimore and society in general, and it's gnarly, and it's part of the reason we write about werewolves, because everything else is just mundane to me at this point when you have to see this, every day, it's unfortunate. And while we poke fun, it reminds me of the old saying I was told when I was a kid: you kind of laugh to keep from crying, because it's sad what Baltimore City has become, and what it used to be. And we're far removed from that, and it's unfortunate. And again, that's what Dead City kind of embodies. The song itself, it's a play on that. I'm hoping that one day some Dr. Frankenstein can bring our Dead City back to life, though. We'll see.
Yeah.
What?
You don't have to tell me. I work over behind Pimlico, so
Yeah.
I'm in
So
the...
you absolutely see the underbelly. Like
well,
I said,
I'll put it this way. A friend of mine is a salesman for a company I use. He was like, "Dude, I'll come by and we can get some lunch." And I'm like, "There's nowhere.
there's nowhere to
There's
get lunch
nowhere.
over here.
I will have food here in the office, and then you just come here, because unless you want to get
Listen.
shot, there's no restaurants."
I work over by you sometimes. There may be a place, I don't know if it's okay to say, Belvedere Towers, but I mean there's a place there that is very, it's an unfortunate place.
Oh yeah.
It's Halloween all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's not a fancy place. No.
I ran one year a 5K, or it was right around Preakness. They decided to have a 5K through that neighborhood. It was the quickest I have ever run.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost
actually
it's like a challenge.
we both work on the west side. She works over Cross Keys, which has become all fancy and they redid everything, But I'm over on the other side by Reisterstown Road where Pimlico is. So I'm in the war zone. So
Yeah, I'm up in that
Yeah.
area all the time, and it's
Yeah.
it's so crazy because some of the places are fantastic, and then just a hop, skip, and a jump, or a stone's throw away.
yeah.
Here is this,
That's-
other world.
The city's always been like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
So I did love in Dead City, you've got missing tongues, missing fingers, zombie threats, and I love Baltimore and Kill Philadelphia. Maybe it sounds a little bit like Baltimore and Philadelphia. I don't know. Maybe
I think
thinly
so.
veiled.
Body
So,
more Philadelphia. Yeah.
I wonder if anyone noticed the obituary reads, "Slowly we rot,"
I did.
Yeah.
and so that was kind of my little ode to obituary. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
did somewhere say, I believe, we're coming to get you, Barbara. So that's another little ode to Mr. Romero there. So
Oh, yeah.
You ever tell somebody you're from Baltimore and they immediately bring up The Wire?
listen, it's a fantastic piece of art. I love it, and I'm
Yeah.
very close friends with another artist named Damian Rain who played Frog in the Wire, and good friend of mine. And I can't say enough good things about that. As a matter of fact, it's part of the reason that the side project took the name Locust Point, was because it's
Yeah.
so prevalent in the Wire itself. So
Yeah.
I love the fact that you drop a Walking Dead reference. Personally, are you guys more a fan of the grim horror movies, or are you more a Shaun of the Dead type guy, or both?
for me, it's the grim. The bloodier, the better. It comes from. I remember just cuddling up with my mom on a Friday night and just getting close to her on the couch and watching, whatever matinee they had going on, and usually be something like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween. And I have watched those movies so much. Even today, if I'm sitting down watching something, my wife is like, just give me the remote, because we're not watching one of these movies over and over. I mean, Halloween, we go out with the film projector on the side of my house and just blow it up and watch horror movies with the kids, and the neighborhood
great.
neighbors come in and hey, there you see him peeking around the corner, like, hey man, come on over, dude. And they come
Yeah.
over, and it's all good fun, and we're getting close to that right now too. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Have you gotten your 50-foot skeleton from Home Depot yet?
More than one.
Good for you. Good for you.
Our neighbors leave theirs up year round. Right now, he's still wearing a Star Spangled Banner bikini, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just so hard to take them down. They just leave them up all year.
Yeah, there's nowhere to put the damn thing. So they end up wearing leprechaun beards in March and
Yeah,
Santa Claus hats in December.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
So, if Moonsinger really had to survive an apocalypse, which one of you makes it to the end credits, and which one of you gets tripped over a guitar cable and eaten first?
Oh, I'm the first one going for sure. No doubt about that. No doubt.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably be the second one down. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I think-
I'll take full credit in saying I'm getting the hell out of here. Somehow, some way, at least in my own mind, I have to survive.
So I did love the way the real horror of Baltimore, the Squeegee Boys, actually made it into your universe. Have you ever tried to explain what they are to someone from Europe? They're like,
Yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is, I didn't realize personally that they've been a fixture here in Baltimore for 40 years. you know. And of course, as Mark can attest, it's now they're really, I think they've calmed down a little bit, but about 2 years ago, around pandemic, it was kind of violent.
Yeah,
You know, they were very aggressive. But yeah, the Squeegee Boys made it in, and you know, they're their own clan, right?
Yeah, I actually went out to get something to eat the other day at work, and there were some, squeegee boys that were working. And I came back and I said, I have to say, they picked a really good corner because it's very busy, and the red lights are long. I would, if I was a squeegee boy, I would pick that corner. So they were enterprising. I admired
Like
their
kudos,
choice in
yeah,
the corners. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you know, I do agree with the enterprise portion of it all, but you know, there's a
Mhm.
right and wrong way, obviously. You know, I mean,
Right. As long as you're not too aggressive.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't be too
Yeah.
aggressive, and please don't make me cycle through a light.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, but in this universe, they eat people? If
Yeah,
that-
I think in ours they do too. It's just a little less literal. I can't tell you how many people I see when they come to that red light, they're dreading. You know, the window goes up, the locks go down, and you know
Yeah. Yeah.
they stone face, don't want to look at them or anything. It's quite fascinating, to be honest. You
Well,
know,
I have to say that I used to he used to make me really uncomfortable were what the guys that would collect the money for the police, like in White Marsh and stuff, like they were really
yeah,
aggressive. Like I was more pissed off at them than the squeegee boys.
yeah, coming up to you with the fireman, coming up with the
And then they
boot.
would be like, they would be like, well, you don't want to support the police. Like they were really aggressive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I
kind
didn't
of,
like that at all. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that snide remark. Yeah, we get a lot of that around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it's harder or easier to write kind of like a concept album like this, or just write unconnected tracks?
You guys want to answer any of these questions?
Yeah.
Well, see, the funny thing is, like, you've done 90% of the lyrical content on our songs. I mean, I've only helped out with one song, but it was easier for me to help write that song because I already knew what universe we were in and who these characters were. So it made sense. I've done some writing in the past lyrically, but I've always been because someone gave me a spark of some sort of idea and then I can run with it. So I would think that the conceptual way is a lot easier in my mind. I don't know about you, Eric, because you did most of the lyrics on the the Wolf Pirates.
For me, it's easy because it seems that the story it snowballs. You know, we've got right now 4 or 5 songs that tell a story of the 3 of us meeting. They tell the story of us becoming the werewolf, us feeling the vigor of being alive again. And again, this is all reference to us being in a band together in real life. It's what happened. We felt like we were washed up. We were going to do a studio project. We were going to be funny, and then all of a sudden it became serious. And then again, real life is so terrible. For the most part, not my personal life, but just I'm not interesting enough to write about. So and I don't want to write about the horrors and atrocities of everyday life. So it was easy to take this path of this fantastical journey of ultimately finding these characters that, for me, I love. I've grown to. Of course, I know much more about them than anyone else does. Not to say Gary and Dimitri don't know what I know, but the audience. But it's just I can't wait to really write the story. The songs are written; they're not literal. So you don't get everything that I want you to get, but the story is going to be fantastic. We've got some ideas. We haven't started writing it yet, but it writes itself. I could do 1,000 pages right now of this.
Yeah.
You know, it's simple.
I think one way that we come up with concepts is we usually, well, for me, and I'm sure Eric the same way, when we write certain songs, they kind of give us a vibe. You know, we wrote a song called Iron Bear, for instance, that to me it was, I don't know, it was kind of tough sounding, like, you know, someone strutting their shit, you know. It's not the eye of the tiger, it's bigger, it's badder. It's got to be something like an iron bear, you know? And just from that like idea, it just snowballed with Eric. He came up with this great story. And we've had a lot of songs like that. I mean, we have once again the song Letter Gold to me had kind of like a country, not country, but a western vibe to it.
Southern
So
vibe.
so we
Yeah.
we took that, you know, and Eric based lyrics on it, and that's, I think a lot of our songs are kind of that way.
Yep. And we got Geordie, basically inspired by the Creep Show, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And that one, and again, Eric is like, boom, boom, boom. Within, like, you know, we had the music down and it was sounding really good, and the idea of Geordie, All Things Green, was the original working title, but Geordie is the character in Creep Show that touches the meteor and starts to turn into a human plant, right?
Right.
And so Eric just ran, and you know, your love and your interests are going to inform your own creativity. So obviously he was like, oh yeah, I'm writing about Geordie. It was quick, and he was, you know, slamming it in no time.
It was really ahead of its time because it was so horrific, but so funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then, nobody was putting that black humor together. You know, it was just
Mm-hmm.
Meteor shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was actually Stephen King, wasn't it? That was the
Yes,
meteor
it
guy?
was. Yeah.
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 Yeah, blew me away. I had him watch the recent reboot of Ash and the Evil Dead, and I couldn't believe it was that kind of violence with Disney level comedic timing. I was like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, it's come a long way. It's come along, but back then,
Yeah, that
Creepshow
was
was like
beginning.
one of the first. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
even
Bruce
Creepshow
Campbell
2 was
always
good with the.
delivers.
Remember the one with the killer trash bag on the water? Remember that?
Yeah.
In part
Yeah.
two.
That was a great
Hey,
It's
that's
like we
all-
don't have the budget for this that we had for the last one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. So we're just going to sit on the middle of the lake on a little loft, a little barge, so to speak, and just film it with a trash bag.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it looks
that
like.
they did. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Stephen King was involved with that one. That's probably
Yeah. He must have taken all the budget for the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he took the money and run.
Yeah.
So, Demetrius, let's talk guitars. What's your favorite make and your go-to? And on the flip side, are there any total no-goes for you? Like, you're that kind of guy who says absolutely no guitars with cutouts, or over my dead body do I play a pink flying V?
No. Well, my favorite guitar brand currently would definitely be Charvel. I own a few of them. My go-to though is my white SoCal. For me, I used to be a Gibson player, as you can see back here, but they're just way too heavy and they kill my back. And they sound great, but you know, when you're getting down to the lower frets and everything, it's not, you know, there's not a whole lot of movement you can get down there. It just kind of blocks your hand. So I decided to move over to Strats, and not much of a Fender guy, but it just seemed like a no-brainer to go for a Charvel SoCal, because you know they have humbuckers instead of single coils, which you know works for the kind of music we play.
Right.
As far as no-go guitars, no, not really. I think everything has its merits. You know, it's in the hands. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we watched you guys, everything about you grooved so well. There were some of the bands that we saw, and we always have this during the Doomfest because it's a very underground thing. There's some bands that they seem like they've just met each other on stage for like the first time. Like, or like I always say, like your gear even all kind of matched. Like you were all kind of playing the same type of guitars, nothing really overshadowed anything else. I remember like we saw this one band, the guy was playing like what's the Ted Nugent guitar, the Birdland?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, clearly he thinks that he should be louder than everyone else because that's a $3,000 guitar. Like
Yeah, right.
vintage guitars always ruin the vibe. Like you got to have everybody on the same level. So, I mean, even without knowing anything about your cool concepts and stuff you're writing, what impressed us the most was just how natural and groovy and you seemed like just so well rehearsed. Like that you can't put enough emphasis on that, I don't think. And believe me, we sat through most of the bands that were there, and some were harder to sit through than others, but
Well, that's awesome because we kind of felt like we had a rough night, a rough day actually.
And we were
And
really hard on
surprisingly,
ourselves.
yeah, and
yeah.
surprisingly, we do not practice very often at all. We're all very busy. We do as much as we can, of course, but yeah, we were not very practiced.
Really. Well, it came through. It came through really well. Then you guys just had to us, you had a really good sound. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
that's awesome. We've always
do you-
just grooved well with each other. It's pretty easy for us.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, it's very natural, I think, for us. So yeah, it's definitely a positive to be able to, even at practice. If we're lucky, we have maybe one practice a month, and we go in there, and it's like we were just there a couple days ago. We just click together so well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'm a sucker for like 3-piece bands. I love Budgie and ZZ Top and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Where there's
Absolutely, yeah.
all that. Yeah, you can. Where the bass player can do all kinds of cool stuff underneath and all. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're fans of all those bands too. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and the 3-piece thing again, we thought we didn't want that. I thought I didn't want that. We've even been as recently as weeks ago. We need to do something else. But I think that we found our groove, and
I'm the guy who's fighting all the time, I think. I've been the guy who's like, nah, dude, 3 of us. This is the special sauce. Don't
we've
throw
been
anything
here
else
before.
in there.
I think you're right, Gary. I think you're right, buddy.
Yeah, like the 3-piece Motorhead. Like they never did
Yeah.
anything better than
Yeah.
that.
I did love the killer combo of that solo and Iron Bear. I checked it out on YouTube.
Thank you.
I love it over that filthy bass line. Not all bands of this genre will include a guitar solo. Sometimes, I don't know, it just seems to fall by the wayside. Do you guys kind of have a rule book when it comes to solos? Does it have to have a beginning, middle, end, certain length of time, or is it just whatever's right in the moment?
As far as that goes, I don't really have any rules. I just kind of go with feeling whatever my hands feel like doing. Yeah. I mean, I'm not technically, I wouldn't say I'm a lead guitar player. I play some leads, but I've always been a rhythm guy, and lead hasn't been super important to me. But it really depends, If the song calls for a lead, then I'm gonna play a lead,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think lately a lot of the stuff we've been doing, especially if for example, I think the best example I can think of is the song Entity. It's when I present a bass line, and there's really the best thing for you to do, Dimitri, is just go off on this. Let it take you. I mean, we do this with each other. I'm terrible because I give pep talks every time we're together. I know these guys are probably like, man, will you just shut up and play? But I'm always looking for an analogy to make to us in order to, I get lost in translation probably like I do 20 times already here. But just to try to get my point across is, these guys really they respond well with that too. Instead of being like, hey man, just be quiet, we got it, we understand. They let me be this big giant kid with them, and I appreciate the hell out of them for it.
It's great, dude. Positive energy goes a long way, man.
For sure.
So Gary, I was impressed by how your electric drum kit sounds. I wouldn't have thought you could get all the sounds out of that. And I love your
Yeah.
cymbal abuse. I love that. Also, I noticed you were mic'd up, so you're singing too. Was that something
Yeah.
different for you, or is that something you've always done?
No, I've always been a bit of a singer. I think it mostly comes from in my earliest days with just starting to try bands, and we never had anybody to sing. And I just found, just to keep us in line and make these songs sound somewhat correct, I would just start singing them, and eventually it just kind of stuck. I do a cover band project, and I'm a lead singer on about a quarter of the set. So it's just something I've gotten used to. And Eric was very inspiring to and encouraging to sing. He's like, "Hey man, if you ever think of harmonies and things that works with these songs, bring them on." And I've been doing that slowly but surely. I feel like our voices are a pretty good complement to each other, because Eric's got that more, gravelly low thing going on, very soulful, and I have a higher, different kind of range, so we're able to mesh up pretty well, I think. So it's fun. I really enjoy singing and playing.
Sounded really good. So I have a
Appreciate it.
question about Savage. That seems like the most toxic relationship I've ever heard. You always jump when I yell. It's so damn cute. That's why I yell at you? Did that come from a
So-
real life experience, or was that some kind of movie?
Again, this is just fantasy. I had the idea of writing a song. There's someone that kind of inspired it. It's a mutual. It's a Facebook friend of mine. Demetrius knows them in person, and they don't know it's about them, so I won't say their name. But they and it's not any what's the word I'm looking for? Any like lust there or anything like that. But this person does S&M, and we've seen that they've had all this stuff. So I was watching the television show The Sinner, and Bill Pullman, I believe it is in the show. And one of the things he does is he goes and sees a woman, and she steps on his hands. It's one of the things that he prefers. So in our story, the antagonist is the female. And the protagonist in this, or the victim, so to speak, would be the unassuming businessman that pulls up. I had this whole video planned out to where you see this Mercedes. The whole video is shot from the ground, not going past the knee. So you see the Mercedes pull up to the curb. You see the businessman get out with his loafer and his pant. You see him, you hear his footsteps walking. Just as he knocks on the door and the door opens, boom, boom, ba-da-na-na-na. He's walking up the steps. You see the and maybe a mirror, the candles being lit. I mean, there's wax involved. There's cats of nine tails involved. But yeah, that's Savage. Yes, it would be a toxic relationship for sure, but one that was welcomed.
Yeah, I'd like to see you guys pull off like some visualizer videos. Do you think that the pirate werewolf characters would wear clothes or no?
I've always thought if the pirate werewolf characters, to me, the video would be like, if we can remember Scooby-Doo, when they're running through, there's like 6 or 7 doors on each side of the hallway, and they just keep running through the doors, even though it doesn't make sense. And in 1 minute, the pirate's chasing Scooby, and the next minute, Scooby's behind the pirate.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
That's the scene that I picture for that whole ordeal. But
I think they wear clothes.
Yeah,
for sure.
wear clothes.
Yeah. I guess they had clothes on.
Fully clothed.
There you have it.
Yeah.
Maybe a pirate shirt.
Yeah, dude, totally.
At least a patch on the eye. Come on, man.
I got the bandana on the head. That's what I'm doing.
I remember being like I think I was like 17, and I just gotten one of the King Diamond albums, and I flipped it over, and Andy LaRocque had an eye patch. I just remember like staring at it for hours and being like, "That's so fucking cool!" Like, where did he come up with that in 1987 or whatever? Just so wild, Like
Yeah.
his costume wasn't. He had the leather pants. He had the puffy shirt. Wait a minute. How about now?
Yeah, right.
So badass.
I think
No,
I think
yeah.
that's Abigail, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's
Abigail.
Abigail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just discussing the other day. I was telling, I think that Them is probably, for me, it's the greatest metal album ever made.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
I love that one. That's the one that the haunted house in the front, right? And them, yeah. It's got the mansion on the front cover. Yeah.
All right, so we do a game on the show. Normally it's 5 random questions with Stace, but because there's 3 of you, I want each of you to pick 2 numbers between 1 and 100, which will correspond to a random question just for you.
Lost you
Okay.
guys. There we go. Sorry.
5 and 99.
And 99. Guess we'll start with you. 5. If you were a villain in a movie, what would your evil catchphrase be?
Is this me?
This is Gary.
Gary. Yeah, Gary
this
picked
is
5
me.
and 99.
My evil catchphrase. Put me on the spot with being witty and clever right here. I'd probably say something stupid like, "That'll do it," and be done with it.
That'd be a pretty good
Unassuming
one.
but scary at the same time.
Open up a pit of sharks. That'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. 99. If you could rename any animal, what would you call it?
Good question.
Kind of drawing blanks here.
I always thought a
Well,
giraffe. should
I
be
would call a
lion.
wolf. I would call a wolf a Moonsinger. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we
I
go.
mean,
I like it.
Let's make it simple.
All right, Eric, give me 2 numbers, excluding
Okay.
55 and 99.
We'll do 1 and 38.
All right, 1. If you could time travel, but only to witness one concert live, what would it be?
Fantastic
You got a
question.
good question. You got a good one.
Ugh. Well, that's because I picked 138. If you guys caught my rip there.
Like we are 138. Is that?
Absolutely, we are 138.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So, to answer that question, it's something I've thought about before, and it, I think it would be the Doors and Jim Morrison. That's again another huge influence of mine. I remember getting my first CD player, and at the same time that Val Kilmer's movie The Doors had just came out, and
Yeah.
that was one of the first albums we had gotten, was the soundtrack to that, and I just remember it being nonstop, and it took me being a radio kid to having a trajectory, and it led down a rabbit hole that I'm still traveling down. And so I think that's my answer. It would be Jim Morrison and the Doors.
That's a good one.
I know what you're talking about though, because like I knew the hits, but I hadn't heard like Not to Touch the Earth and Cars just past my
Goosebumps.
window, and I got into the deep cuts because of that movie. Yeah, big time.
Fantastic. Yeah.
All right, 38. What's your weirdest or most hilarious on-stage mishap?
Ooh, I don't know that I have any good ones. A hilarious mishap on stage. Okay, why don't you give me one then?
Well, what about the?
Okay, I've got one. I'm going there, Dimitri. So we played with one of our favorite bands, Megaton Communion, out of Ohio, and Joe Marshall. If you're listening one day, I hope you remember this conversation we had not too long ago, where I was drunk and I got on stage and I wanted to thank them for having us and inviting us to their hometown and putting on such a fantastic show, that I thanked the Megaton community instead of Megaton Communion. And
Oh geez. Yeah.
of course I played it off as in No, I'm talking about your fans. This is the Megaton community.
Well, at least you did that, right?
So I guess that was probably that was a pretty funny one, I thought, you know. So.
And it's absolutely out there on YouTube for everybody to see
Yeah.
if they want to search for it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
We always say we're really glad during our college days that there weren't no cell phones.
Oh my
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
us too.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
All right, Dimitri, you're up. I need 2 numbers.
All right. How about, hopefully no one picked these because I forgot. How about 8 and 44?
You're good. Number 8. If you could have a superpower for one day, what ridiculous thing would you do with it?
Great question.
What would I do with it? Oh,
What would it be first?
yeah, it's a good question. I don't know, maybe invisibility. I'm trying to figure out what I could steal with that and how I would do it. Let's keep it vague there just in case I get invisibility. I don't want to incriminate myself.
Right. Don't incriminate
You
yourself.
need an invisibility cloak to cover what you're stealing with. So.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Yep.
Mhm.
No one ever picks flying. 44. What is your go-to weird snack when no one's watching?
I don't really know that I have a weird snack.
I know
Yeah,
we
I'm
have a
growing.
bad habit of getting a little too many beers, and then we get tortillas and microwave cheese, and then the next day there's cheese all over the microwave plate. I'm like, what did we do?
Yeah. there's
Yeah.
something-
Now I'm a pretty picky eater, so this is a tough question. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, for that one, I can't answer that. I can't think of anything.
So
Sorry.
look, I'm not even going to. I'm so tired of answering everybody else's questions. Okay, guys, come on. So here's the superpower that I want. Ready?
Yeah.
The Midas touch.
Oh yeah.
Everything I touch turns to gold. That way, I don't. You know, the anti-hero is me. I'm. You know, who's got who? What do you need? You know, Superman comes and says, "Hey, this piece of medical machinery needs a 50-pound piece of gold in order for us to save the world. Let me produce that for you." But at the same time, here comes Dr. Evil and says, "Hey, buddy, I need a 50-pound piece of gold because I want to do this." And knowing me, his idea sounds probably a little better. So, but yeah, that would be me, the Midas touch.
Yeah, but
And,
how do you rub one out?
Oh,
Oh my.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no good.
Pet your cat, you know, you're just doomed.
oh,
I always
no.
imagine like Batman and Robin are like in a restaurant, like, you know, finishing up lunch, and some guy comes up and is like, "Thank you so much. You saved my family. You saved our city. I just want you to know I'll never forget what you did." And he walks away and he goes, "Who was that?" And they're like, "I have no idea." Whatever.
I thought you were going to say, "Kid, I'm eating lunch."
Right now,
Yeah.
just they were real congenial, and then they're just
Yeah,
like,
right.
"I don't know who that was," you know.
Yeah, it was really weird when we were at the Metro seeing the John Christ show. Some guy walked up to me. He's like, "I thought you would be here," and I had no idea who the hell he was. So I just went, "This is my husband, Mark. I'm going to go get a beer."
Really weird.
No idea.
Yeah, we you know, that's the good with the bad, so to speak. So last year in August is when we had a really big show with a Megaton communion. It was our first time being with Benzotti Live, Dave Benzotti, who is a huge supporter of ours, and I can't say enough great things about the guy. He's done a lot for us in Moonsinger.
Absolutely. Yep.
And as well as Mark Kirkshank from the Xenogram production promotion. Those two guys have really stepped in and done so much for us to welcome us into this community and to be part of this community, and continue to do so much for us. We're hoping that big things together we can do, and but the community itself it's filled with all types of characters, and since being part of it, it feels like it's like the island of misfit toys. I know it's probably cliche to say, but where you're accepted amongst your differences, and the common thread that runs between you is the music, and so many music lovers, including yourselves. It's just it really is kind of overwhelming to see. We've been doing this for a long time, and only now, here I am almost 50, and this is the first time that we're able to play with bands that not everyone's keeping their arms folded and their chin up and acting so hardcore, and it's been really a nice a breath of fresh air and a nice experience to have all of this. And again, even us doing the interview tonight, I can't help but think that if we didn't have such strong people in our corner, that we wouldn't be here tonight, because even with that being said, JB giving us the opportunity to play the Doomfest on its very last year, was a huge blessing. We're not a band to ask for anything. We do everything ourselves. I am playing in a side project with JB, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable asking something like that at that point in time. And, ultimately he came to me and said, "Hey, would you be interested?" And we were just ecstatic. And, like I said, all these things are happening for us now. It's been a really exciting year. And, I just wanted to take the time to thank those people, because they really deserve it,
Much so.
That's right.
That's awesome.
I say keep doing what you're doing. You could be the next Clutch. I'm telling you.
Hey man, listen, we're all about that. This is a labor of love, and like I said, longevity is the key.
Yeah.
I think that is something that Clutch has proven. Longevity is the key, and we're not going nowhere. So we're excited about things that are happening.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Ears 1.
Deaf Ears 1 is Seances. Power is a Phantom. Another day, another band from Wisconsin. The thing that most impressed me about Seances isn't the catchiness of their songs, the retro post-punk tone of the guitars, or the unified art of their album, singles, and video. They actually sound English. For an American band to pull off music that sounds like it was recorded on the banks of the Thames during a rainstorm is quite a feat indeed.
Try and name a handful of Yank-based artists that you mistook for British. It's hard to think of any, isn't it? The dude from Model Act Trees pulls it off. Those vocals in Crossing Guard sound like a full-on Brian Ferry temper tantrum. Gabriel Franco from Unto Others does an admirable job too. Few others could deliver lines like, "You don't have to kill yourself today, because you can do it tomorrow," as convincingly as he does. And of course, there's Sparks. Even after reviewing like 17 of their 94 albums, I still get the sense that the Mail Brothers are somehow limeys that snuck through the customs and ended up in Los Angeles. Do you know what the secret ingredient is to pull off a sound like this? It's not songwriting. It's not the dark humor. It's drollness. Few Americans are able to mimic the bottomless drollness of Morrissey or Jazz Coleman, but somehow the duo of Eric Arsenault on vocals and bass and Jason Kartz on guitar have done exactly that.
First single and video for the album is Forgiveness. I'm just now noticing that each song is a single word, another artsy aspect of this project.
Yep.
Built on sprightly guitars weaving in and out of each channel, female vocal flourishes, and a beat you could volley Ringwald to. There's a touch of naivety and romanticism to the lyrics that add to the 80s vibe. Can you stay a while? Your love makes my heart scream. I'm waiting for him to offer to stop the world and melt with you. Where was that band from?
I think Canada.
Something English. I can't remember, but anyway. Let's play a clip. This is Forgiveness.
Fathom is one of the more danceable tunes on the record. Almost a Depeche Mode vibe to that one. An outstanding vocal performance from Arsenal. When we get to the "We Have All the Time in the World Now" part, the guitars break into this very raw, Pixies-adjacent riff to marvelous effect. The whole thing makes me want to don a black cardigan, slather myself in eyeliner, and sit in the back of the school bus sulking furiously. To this end, I must mention Surface, one of the darkest and dreariest yet catchiest cuts on the whole dang thing. Arsenal delivers a vocal like Peter Murphy after his cat's funeral, and a quirky Casio-style synth that weaves in and out of the song is absolutely dreamy, and the uncredited female vocals are maddening. Who is that voice? I must know. At any rate, if you're looking for the perfect dance till you frown record that doesn't have bad teeth, this one should be right up your alley. Coming soon, the soundtrack for Pretty in Pink 2, starring Charlie Rolfe, and soundtrack by Seances. Let's play Surface. Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is the new album from Last Bias, The Sea Hates a Coward. The phrase, "the sea hates a coward," comes from Eugene O'Neill's 1931 play, Morning Become Electra, his Americanized retelling of the Greek Oresteia trilogy. Both works circle themes of justice, vengeance, family curses, and doomed humanity. O'Neill penned it in 1931. Last Bias screams it in 2025. In either context, the sea is both literal and metaphorical, an unstoppable force that doesn't care if you're afraid, hesitant, or broken, it'll take you anyway. Last Bias twists those same themes into a noisy, visceral, post-hardcore squall across 8 tracks in the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot. And while The Sea Hates a Coward is technically their debut, bassist vocalist Mark Twistworthy is no rookie. He's a veteran of the DIY underground, runs Twistworthy Records, and contributes regularly to Razorcake magazine. That pedigree shows. This record harnesses raw chaos like a pro, somewhere between Husker Du and Green Machine.
I'm Not Down reveals the band's signature lyrical style. Repeat a phrase until it first sounds nonsensical, and then somewhere around the 10th scream, it crystallizes into something bigger. Twistworthy's vocal is dry and biting, like my ex-husband after a Sunday spent screaming at the Ravens. Hoarse, clipped, shredded raw by Monday morning. His repeated, "I'm not down," spirals into a manic, "why can't anyone else see how insane this is" vibe, and my Zoloft bottle is empty. Let's play a clip. I'm Not Down. Guitarist Chris Kirby and Mark Simpson bend between distortion, atonal squiggles, and bunched up jangles. The track kicks off with a quick stuttering riff that cuts like a razor, sharp, twitchy, full tilt anxiety. Those jagged strikes jab through the verses, then snap to a reverb-drenched sprint for the chorus. It's the kind of riff that gets your neck moving before your brain signs off. Drummer Chris Cosgrove mirrors the nervous energy, jittery like a tapping foot outside the principal's office, but pounding heavier. Twistworthy's bass is hefty and swollen, burning with reverb underneath like a jet engine slide.
Sinking opens with guitar licks that wobble and grind with a banjo-like twang, hot with reverb that later bookends the track. The snare and kick hammer with blunt regularity, steady gravity over flash. Twistworthy barks in panic. I'm not drowning, I'm sinking, while the bass lines drip thick like basting saws. The guitars alternate between losing the crunk and playing a series of notes that lope, shift, and surge across the mix, bringing the drama and then bunching back up a dramatic pulse near track's end, lurching in quick stabs. By the end, Twistworthy is coughing up madness, his yells unraveling like an uncontrollable fit.
Waiting on Time rolls out an ostinato guitar line that surges and waves, independent from the smeared, sooty vocals. A brief bridge offers a mewling lead that warps upward like it's asking a question, while the discordant riff below clashes and the bass dirty dances. The drums crack sharp like a boot stomping dry kindling. The guitars bleed riffs in a revolving loop, dark and restless, before grinding up mid-track into a meshed gear purr. The return of the opening melody, stacked on top, seals it with a perfect build. My personal favorite is Florida. It begins with a distorted sideways guitar line that stumbles like it had one too many beers, soon joined by fluttering chimes and atonal squiggles. Later the riffs tighten into catchy, quick-fire bursts, collapsing into a torrent of Larna, Larna, Larna that you'll find yourself air guitaring to in the grocery store the next day as it resurfaces in your head. Costco's drum patter sends cymbals into shimmers, while Twistworthy's bass stumbles and rumbles below. His refrain, "Don't decide," is barked hoarsely, screaming the cat hair off the sofa. By the end, the guitars turn shivery, riffs pressing closer and closer together until it feels like they're chasing you.
Last Bias is a unique concoction of 90s screamo, post-hardcore, and a dash of punk, and yes, even a little literature. Like the sea, they feel unstoppable. Fans of Unwound, The Jesus Lizard, or Fugazi will find safe harbor here, or maybe just drown happily. As Twistworthy Records proudly puts it, join them in making poor life choices since 1990-something. Let's play a little of Florida. Okay, Deaf Ears 3 is the new album from Blackwater Rising, The Edge. When I first saw Blackwater Rising labeled as Stoner Rock on Discogs, I have to admit I got a little mad. After a week of spinning The Edge, that catch-all genre tag feels wildly off. Sure, they have heavy riffs, but lumping them in with generic stoner rock does them a disservice. What I hear instead is a foundation of hard rock, a pinch of alt rock, a little southern fry, and some stadium-ready, hook-laden choruses, all wrapped in lyrics that are part political, part rallying call. The New York Quartet calls this no-frills rock, and if by that they mean strong riffs, smart songwriting, and leads with more hooks than a queen's corset, then you know this doom and heavy metal lover approves. This ain't no yacht rock by any stretch, people. Their fourth full-length delivers 10 tracks, mostly in the radio-friendly 3 to 4 minute range, with grooves that make your hips move, low-end riffs that throb in your chest, and lyrics that don't sugarcoat the mess we're in.
In Slow Slide, there's no atmospheric build, because in No Frills Rock, there's just no need. The vibe hits instantly. From the first note, a sonic wall crashes down. Rob Trainer and John Fatrioso's guitar smashing like the Kool-Aid Man, except you were the one yelling, "Oh yeah!" One guitar spills a tumble of notes while the other rumbles in low down-tuned riffs. Mike Missolin's drumming locks into a mid-tempo groove, thudding toms, snapping snare, and cymbals screaming in near protest. Oddie McLaughlin's bass is bouncy like a startled toad. The wall recedes only to slam back after Trainer's vocals kick in. Another of this band's subtle secret weapons. His slightly distorted melodic baritone has just a little light-grade sandpaper at the edges. With every sunrise, you can plan a new start and ride the slow slide. With every sunset, you just tear it apart and ride that slow slide on down. Mid-track and toward the end, echoed vocals and siren-like whooshes add a polished sheen, and Fatrioso's mid-track solo, Hendrix-style wails followed by rapid-fire slide sequence are just a bad idea, said no one ever. The song could be about addiction, depression, or just the way we sabotage ourselves day after day.
Another highlight from The Edge is Hail Mary. This track is a fist in the air, zero fucks given anthem for watching the world burn. Lines like, I used to give a shit, but now I'm done with it, and with your head in sand and your balls in your hand are delivered by Trainer with added grit, perfectly matching the song's caustic, sarcastic edge. The guitars are set to low end, intoxicated riffing, with a bass line so dirty you'll feel like you need a tetanus shot afterward. Mendelssohn taps out a slow whip-crack toms that push the groove relentlessly. During the chorus, the riffs lighten as guitar sings a high, distant plea, giving the track a dynamic lift. Midway through, Trainer and Federoso layer in some funk-infused harmonies before plunging back into the grime of the low-end riffs. The full-on gang Hail Mary at the end, following a teased, distant chorus, is the cherry on top. Honestly, it got me thinking that this should be a Ravens anthem this year because every game we play is a nail-biter, and, well, we do have the balls. Anyway, let's play a clip. This is Hail Mary.
No regrets, no concern. Sit back and watch it burn. With your head in the sand and your balls in your hand. Hail Mary, monkey see, monkey do, monkey don't have a clue. Hail Mary.
Then there's Headstrong, which flips the script from doom and destruction to raw perseverance. The lyrics paint a guy with the odds stacked against him who refuses to back down. He's got no regrets, just lessons learned. There's no victories unless your scars are earned. Musically, it's sawdust on the floor, sternum rattling riffing that rolls and bounces off cymbal vibrations, snare smacks, and that thumping kick drum heartbeat. Trainer takes on storyteller mode here, adding inflection and a dash of yeahs that lifts the narrative. Uplifting despite the tale of our stubborn but doomed hero, the gang chorus, flanked by light guitar squeals, is irresistible. You can't help but join and cheer on the stubbornness between verses. And Fatrioso serves up solos with more noodles than a Saturday night at P.F. Chang's. And just when you think it's maxed out, a highlighted section of low reverb downtuned riffs oils the gears even more. All layers come together by track's end, and with the reverb-drenched outro, the band lands the vault perfectly. My favorite, winning by a nose against the other tracks, is the title track, The Edge. Lyrically, it's apocalyptic. You can hear the bell toll while we're digging that hole, deeper and deeper and deeper. The refrain, we keep crawling to the edge. I know, we're going over, feels like an admission that we're already past the point of no return. Trainer's vocals are gritty, almost snarling. Each word drags over hot coals before eventually erupting into a scream.
The guitar starts off echoing in an almost starship-like fashion, with notes bouncing around like wet ping-pong balls before the heavy metal curtain drops, a light popping melody continuing to add nuance to the proceedings. Mendelssohn's snare hits with such force they clap back, while McLaughlin's bass climbs and falls like he's scaling a rope, hand over hand. After an interlude of plaintive, wandering notes, the kick drum brings gravity back, setting up the final chorus to soar one last moment that feels like a standing ovation. And Federoso delivers a parting solo that ranges and fades like a dying sun, perfectly capping off the track. All in all, The Edge is Blackwater Rising at their no-thrills, riff-heavy best. Since their self-titled debut in 2010, the Brooklyn outfit has carved out a lane of no-frills riff rock, delivering heavy grooves and hooks that stick without needing to be dressed up in overproduction and still knowing when to add a few little extras. With this, their first album in 8 years, they double down with what they do best, soul-bearing vocals, meaty riffs, and lyrics that face the world going sideways. Calling this stoner rock is like calling Lake Superior a puddle. Take that, Discogs. This is Slow Slide.
Down to that place you so often
Zeus be praised. We did another episode.
It's funny, you know how themes always run through it?
Yeah.
Like we talked about Last Bias,
Yeah.
kind of naming their album after a Greek trilogy, and there's lots of Greekness and
Yeah.
and
And references to bowling balls.
yes, lots of references to bowling balls, Medusa heads.
Air guitar. Yeah.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to the gang from Moonsinger for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. My shirt courtesy of Patriots in Black. Thanks, Dan. Season 4 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. You can find him on Instagram at KC Angel Art. So in addition for checking out Moonsinger, remember to check out our Deaf Ears bands, including Blackwater Rising, Seances, and Last Bias. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
I will save you, Andromeda. Take that, crack. Oh, dear. Well, I guess there's extra potassium.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.